Well, CJ, he says it's still a lot to process. The witness I spoke with is James Bailey, and he saw that crash when it happened. At first, he thought the driver had a blowout, so he immediately pulled over to help. But little did he know, the man he helped was just found guilty in a federal bribery scheme, and that wreck was the result of an alleged suicide attempt.
The 911 emergency call went out at 3:26 p.m.
It was this 911 call that James Bailey made Wednesday evening, letting dispatchers know a man wrecked his truck on I-20.
We was between Pelahatchie and Morton, and we were following a truck there for a while, and all of a sudden the truck just kind of veered off to the right at first, and then immediately took a hard left and went across the lanes and into the median, headed toward the incoming lanes of traffic.
This is a photo of the wrecked truck. It crashed into the steel cable wires before coming to a stop. Seeing this, Bailey then sprang into action.
On approaching the truck, I noticed it was kind of strange. The truck was still running and spinning, and I couldn't really see in the truck because it had dark tinted windows. But as I got up to it and I put my hands up on the window, I could see that the man inside was laid back and kind of convulsing, if you would. So I thought he had a heart attack or maybe was having a seizure, a stroke or something.
By this time, another car pulled over to help. Bailey says they were able to knock out the back window. However, nothing could prepare him for what happened next.
We opened the passenger side door. When we did, we just saw blood everywhere. And first thing in my mind, I said, golly, this guy shot himself. But then as he breathed and I guess his heart beat, blood squirted from his wrist and his neck.
After witnessing this, Bailey and the other couple who pulled over to help started applying pressure to the wounds until police arrived. But before first responders could get to the scene,
the man just quit breathing. He just, like it was over. His eyes went back, there was no breath, no heartbeat, the blood stopped flowing. And so we just started praying.
Once first responders arrived, the man regained his consciousness. In fact, Bailey says he even asked them a question.
Said, was anyone else injured? Did I hurt anyone else? And she answered him and said, no. And he said, well, where am I? And once he said that, it just faded out and they loaded him up in the ambulance.
See, it wasn't until hours later when Bailey realized the man he helped was Rudy Warnock. He also found out Warnock was just found guilty in a bribery scheme, facing up to 50 years in prison. We got our hands on that incident report. It states Warnock was actively cutting himself with a knife, heavily bleeding from the lacerations he inflicted on himself. There were lacerations on both wrists and on his neck. It goes on to say he began to cut himself as he was driving eastbound on I-20 and began to run off the road while doing so, and that Warnock continued to cut himself after the vehicle came to rest and stopped once Detective Edwards arrived. Bailey says he's just thankful he could offer some type of help despite the circumstances.
Thinking through it, and you know how things come back, you relive it in your mind. It was just, again, it was a blessing that someone was there. I don't think he would have made it.
Now, no one else was injured during this incident, but again, Warnock was taken to a hospital, treated, and then taken into custody. His sentencing date is set to take place November 18th. Quentin Smith, 3 on your side.
All right, Quentin, thanks. More